Yeah, Dalton, it does not look the same here. We're dealing with some slightly different weather, giving us slightly different impacts. So here in downtown Louisville, when you look down at the ground, you don't see a covering of snow or sleet. It just kind of looks wet. I can tell you though, I'm standing on this pavement, it's freezing rain. And at this very moment, we are seeing a mixture of both sleet and freezing rain. What does that mean for you? It means ice is falling from the sky. Now there's a car that's about to come by here on Muhammad Ali. We're going to show you what the road looks like. Keep in mind, downtown really starts to pick up. The road looks wet, but all that's being kicked up there are these ice pellets on the road. So let's walk down the sidewalk here. You can see kind of off in the distance, it almost looks like a covering of snow. This is actually sleet. Let me show you. These are ice pellets falling from the sky. Walk on and drive on. Look at these little tiny balls of ice. Again, this is what you're stepping out to on the sidewalk. This is what you're driving in if you get on the roads tonight, and please don't. This is what right now is on the road right next to us here on Muhammad Ali. This is what's on interstates right now. This is what's in your neighborhood road, little balls of ice. The problem is with freezing rain, all of this lays down as moisture and it's just going to freeze into kind of a sheet the longer we keep this going. I think we're seeing a transition right now away from freezing rain toward more sleet pellets here in downtown Louisville, but my concern at this point is it's all ice that's falling from the sky. Now we're going to be back with you in about 30 minutes here in downtown Louisville to talk to you about what this means for your car. If you're thinking about tomorrow and you've got to hit the road, we're going to help you. How to take care of your car, how to drive safely, all the things you need to know. Reporting in downtown Louisville, I'm Hannah Strong, WDRB News. That's true. I think here in Louisville, we're transitioning over to more sleet. You're looking at a handrail right now outside of our WDRB station. You can see that sleet bouncing off of the handrail. We're also really starting to accumulate ice on these elevated surfaces. Now, this is going to be colder than the road, so the ice here is going to build up a little bit faster. But as we make this transition from freezing rain over to sleet, now is the time to do that sort of pre-treating stuff that you would normally do ahead of the storm. Now as we transition away from liquid water to frozen water, now is the time. It's the time to let or the ice melt. But if you don't have that, you couldn't find it in town this week, cat litter. Yeah, now this has got to be the non-clumping kind, okay? So you're just going to take your cat litter and you're going to pour it out right on your steps, right on your front sidewalk, wherever you've got to walk tonight to take the dog out, or in the morning if you're going to try to get out on the road, which I don't recommend. The cat litter can help you out if you couldn't find anything else in town. Now, as we finish this transition over to sleet here in Louisville, we're looking at a very different picture in other parts of our area. Dalton Godby is in Seymour, where he is seeing more of that snow transition. Dalton, what can you tell us about what's going on farther up to the north? Well, their conditions are starting to go downhill. Rick, you described sleet like just tiny little ice cubes. That's what we're seeing on the road here. All of this slush, I mean, this looks like a normal snow day. Slush starts to build up on the road, but this is pure ice. There is no snow in downtown Louisville. All you're seeing on the road here is ice, making it a little bit slick. I will also point out that it's 5 p.m. in downtown Louisville, and there's not a car on this road. We're about to see one drive down, but it's one of our news cars, actually. So you can see there is hardly any traffic here, and thank goodness for that, but the less traveled that this road is, the faster conditions will go downhill. If we had cars on it and on it consistently, we could keep the temperature up a little bit more. Now, speaking of your cars, let's go over to our news car here. I want to talk to you about what you're going to see if you head out to your car this evening. First, all of this is ice. I can rub some of it away. It hasn't completely frozen over on this car yet, but we just drove this about 2 hours ago, so it was a little bit warmer. Now, on your windshield wipers, you're going to want to lift these up off of your car if you haven't done it already, but that's not them in plastic or in some sort of fabric, because you can see, again, we just drove this 2 hours ago and these wipers have already frozen. They're covered in ice. And it is ice. This is not snow, because when I try to brush it off of the windshield here, it's not really doing anything. You're going to have to get in and scrape this off. Now, you can still do that, or let me save you some time and energy. You can put some cardboard, a towel, a tarp, something over your windshield and tie it down so it's secure. That's going to prevent more ice from sticking to your windshield that has already formed. That'll save you some time in the morning, because this is pure ice. Like Rick described, these are tiny little ice cubes that are just going to stick to your car, and as temperatures drop, all of this freezes into a solid sheet of ice. And temperatures will drop tonight, so make sure you're prepared to see more of this if you're headed out tomorrow morning. We'll be back with more tips for how to take care of your car when I see you again in about a half an hour, but we're seeing very different conditions in the northern part of our area in Seymour. That's where we find WDRB's Dalton Godby. Dalton, what can you tell us about what's going on farther north? And that's a really important distinction to make, Mark. What are we seeing here? What type of precipitation? So, Rick, you've been here all evening, well, really most of the afternoon and into the evening now, and things are starting to change. What can you tell us about what we're seeing and kind of how that change has happened this afternoon?
Sure. Well, you know, in a typical situation, we'd see freezing rain and then some sleet on top of that and some snow, which means you could kind of brush that away. That is not the case today. You know, Mother Nature never really follows the rules. Kind of a freak show. We had a combination a couple hours ago of both some freezing rain and some sleet. Think of the sleet as tiny little bricks, okay? And the freezing rain as mortar. So they both came down together, and now they're just sort of creating a solid sheet of ice. On top of that now, we are starting to see the sleet accumulate, and that can help give you a little bit of traction, but it is still a slushy mess. I mean, you step outside, and it's very slippery, so please take it easy. Now's also a good time to kind of put down some salt and prepare, because tonight, temperatures will tank all the way down to the 20s. Doesn't matter if it's wet right now or if it's sleet or if it's snow. It's going to be frozen solid tomorrow. Hannah, you have some tips to kind of help with the situation.
I do. These like at-home tips. What do you have at home that can help you tonight? You've got water, and you've probably got some sort of rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. This is my favorite de-icer. 2 parts of alcohol to 1 part of water, because the freezing point of alcohol is a lot lower. This is going to help melt the ice off of your windshield. We'll do a demonstration for you in about half an hour, and WDRB Stefan Johnson, a whole bunch more of those at-home tips. What do you already have at home that can help you kind of keep some of this ice away and make your life a little bit easier over the next day or two? You'll see that story here in just a couple of minutes, but we're going to wrap it up here. We'll be back again in about 30 minutes with an update for you about what we're seeing here in downtown, what you should be prepared for tonight. He's Rick DeLuca. I'm Hannah Strong for WDRB News. All right. I don't know how to recover from that. Yeah. The sleet is actually hitting us in the face to the point where we had to turn sideways. Like, it hurts. It is literal ice pellets falling from the sky. That's what we're watching at the moment, is sleet that's falling. So about a half an hour ago, I told you my at-home de-icer trick. Now we're going to put it to the test. It's 1 part water to 2 parts rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. First, you got to clear away the sleet so we can get down to the ice on the windshield. And then you see when you pour that and all of that ice just disappears. That's all it is. The freezing point of alcohol is significantly lower. It's at a colder temperature than the water, which is why this can work such wonders on your windshield. Now, if you've got a car in the garage, great. You don't have to worry about it until you hit the road. And that's where I'm going to bring Rick DeLuca back in. So, Rick, as we start to talk about road conditions, hopefully folks are staying in tonight and tomorrow morning. But when they do eventually get out on the road, what can you tell us?
Well, for now, things are not looking good, Hannah. So, like you said, unless it's an emergency, we would highly recommend just staying at home, hunker down. I want to go out Muhammad Ali. And this is a one-way street, but Mama didn't raise no fool, so I'm looking both ways and make sure we have no cars coming. I mean, look at the slushy mess that we have ongoing. Crews really have their work cut out for them. With the combination of freezing rain and then sleet on top of it, we really have a lot of slush to deal with. Cars coming down the road at a very slow pace, which is good. Let me get out of the road just to play it safe. So yeah, as we continue through the evening hours with temperatures dropping, we will put a layer of snow on top of this ice. And tomorrow morning, everything will be frozen solid with temperatures dropping down to the 20s. So Hannah and I have really been standing like this when you haven't been looking, just to keep the ice and the sleet pellets from pegging us. It's like buckshot right now. It hurts.
It hurts. I mean, that's what it is. It's little tiny ice pellets just pegging you in the face. And every time the wind picks up, which it is doing, that's important to note, it just stings a little bit more. So I'll be back here with you at 10 o'clock to give you more of these updates. But for now, he's Rick DeLuca. I'm Hannah Strong for WDRB News.